The Ku Klux Klan is one of the most feared and hated groups in American history. The name alone brings to mind images of hatred, racism, violence, and murder. But where did this group come from? Who created it and why? How did it change over time? And how deep was its influence in American society and politics? The Ku Klux Klan has gone through three main periods in its history. In each of these phases, the group changed how it operated, but its message stayed mostly the same. All three versions of the Klan believed in the idea of white supremacy. Each version claimed that it wanted to purify American society, which really meant trying to return the country to a time when white people, especially white men, held all the power. The Klan first began on December 24, 1865, right after the Civil War. It started in Pulaski, Tennessee, when 6 former officers of the Confederate Army decided to form a secret club. These men, Frank McCord, Richard Reed, John Lester, John Kennedy, J. Calvin Jones, and James Crow, originally said they were just creating a social group for fun and brotherhood. They may have been inspired by other old secret societies like the Sons of Malta or the Knights Templar, but very quickly the group took a much darker turn. The Klan started using rituals and ceremonies that made it feel more official and secretive. They even printed a manual that described their rituals and structure. Members wore long robes and hoods that covered their faces. This outfit later became infamous. Their outfits were partly inspired by an old Spanish religious hood called a capirote. The organization also had a ranking system. The leader was called the Imperial Wizard, and each state had a Grand Dragon. Below them were Grand Magus, Grand Cyclops, Kleagles, and finally the regular members called Klansmen. One of the most important early leaders was Nathan Bedford Forrest, a former Confederate general. He was chosen as the first Imperial Wizard and was deeply worried about the growing power of the Republican Party, especially among newly freed Black Americans in the South. Although the Klan claimed it was trying to help maintain peace, its actions told a different story. Klan members attacked, threatened, and even killed Black Americans and white Republicans to keep them from voting or gaining power. The Klan had no real membership lists or official structure, so it was hard to know exactly how many people were involved. Some estimates say there were thousands of members, but many of those numbers were likely exaggerated. In 1869, Forrest officially called for the group to disband, saying that it had strayed from its original purpose. But local chapters continued to act on their own, often violently. Historians have given different views on why the first Klan fell apart. Stanley Horn said it didn't end all at once, but slowly broke apart in different places. Another historian, George C. Rabel, said the Klan failed because it had no real central leadership and couldn't control the criminals within its ranks. Elaine France Parsons described the Klan as a chaotic mix of people: angry poor farmers, political losers, criminals, and even a few people pretending to be Klansmen for personal gain. The only thing they really had in common was that they were white, Southern, and mostly Democratic. Historian Eric Foner put it clearly: the Klan was like a military force. It worked to destroy the gains made during Reconstruction. Its goal was to keep Black Americans from voting, getting educated, or owning property. The Klan used violence and fear to try to take back control of the South and return it to white dominance. The violence was terrifying. In the months before the 1868 presidential election, over 2,000 people were attacked in Louisiana alone. In one place, St. Landry Parish, there were over 1,000 Republican voters registered. After a wave of murders by the Klan, not a single Republican voted in the election. Similar stories happened in Georgia and other southern states. In response, the federal government passed laws to stop the Klan. The Enforcement Acts of 1870 and 1871 gave the government power to investigate and punish Klan crimes. Although racism was always central to the Klan, anti-Jewish beliefs were not at first. In fact, some Jewish people were even members in the early years, but that would change in later generations. The second major version of the Klan began in 1915. It started in Georgia, when a man named William Joseph Simmons brought it back to life. He was inspired by the silent film The Birth of a Nation, which showed the Klan as heroes. When the film came to Atlanta, Simmons and his new group paraded in robes, just like in the movie. This gave the Klan a lot of attention and helped them grow quickly. This new Klan was not just in the South. It spread to cities in the Midwest and West. At its peak in the 1920s, it had between 3 and 8 million members. It was no longer just a Southern group, it was national. The Klan in this era was not only anti-black, but also anti-Catholic, anti-Jewish, and anti-immigrant. They pushed for laws that supported only white Protestants and worked to keep others out of schools and government. The Klan became very active in politics. They backed Democratic candidates who supported segregation and Jim Crow laws. They helped white Democrats regain control of state governments by intimidating black voters and enforcing voting laws designed to block them, like reading tests and poll taxes. By the mid-1920s, the Klan was powerful, but cracks started to show. In 1923, Simmons was pushed out by a man named Hiram Wesley Evans. Soon, two separate Klan organizations appeared, one in the South and one in the Midwest, led by D.C. Stevenson in Indiana. But the public began to turn against the Klan, especially after stories of corruption, crime, and infighting spread. Membership dropped fast, and by 1930, the number of Klan members was down to about 30,000. The Klan faded away during the 1930s and 1940s. The third and final major version of the Klan started in the 1950s and continued into the 1980s. This time, the Klan reappeared in small local groups that used the name and symbols but were not officially connected. They rose again in response to the Civil Rights Movement. These groups opposed school desegregation, voting rights for Black Americans, and equal rights laws. During this time, the Klan sometimes worked with local police and government officials, especially in the South. They carried out violent attacks, including beating the Freedom Riders in 1961 and killing civil rights workers like Medgar Evers in 1963. They were responsible for the 1963 church bombing in Birmingham, Alabama, which killed 4 little girls. These terrible acts led to national outrage. The beginning of the end came in 1981, when Klan members lynched a 19-year-old black man named Michael Donald in Alabama. The case led to a major civil trial, and in 1987, the Klan was ordered to pay a $7 million fine to Donald's family. This lawsuit bankrupted the group and brought its activities under serious legal pressure. Even so, some powerful politicians had ties to the Klan. One example is Senator Robert Byrd from West Virginia. In the 1940s, Byrd was a recruiter for the Klan and used their support to win office. Though he later said he left the group, he continued to vote against civil rights laws for years. He also insulted civil rights leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Despite this, he was praised by many in politics, including Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, who called him a mentor. Many buildings and roads still carry his name today. Today, the KKK is a shadow of what it once was. According to the Anti-Defamation League, there are only about 3,000 members left. The Southern Poverty Law Center says there may be up to 6,000. The U.S. government officially classifies the Klan as a subversive and terrorist organization. Please like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Stay informed, stay curious, and most importantly, stay honest about history.